Oh, these cherries are so good. And get better by the day. They just fall right off. I don't know if you can hear the birds, but you'll see them fly out of here. Here they go. Eating all my cherries. But even with all those birds, there's still a ton of cherries on here. We got to get out here and pick some to save. I've just been eating as many as I can. But, oh, they're so good right now. Stayed warm long enough for the pollinators to come out. They didn't have a freeze. It canceled all the blooms. It's all soft. Perfect. Now, every year is not like this. Last year, they bloomed really early, and then we had a late frost. And it basically froze all the flowers off. So it wouldn't have mattered if we had a bunch of bees or not. Everything just kind of fell away. But this year, you can just see how juicy these cherries are. I'm gonna make myself sick eating all these. But I have to, because it's available. And it's pretty abundant. Check out this tree over here. Again, just chock full. And the birds love them. So while they're busy eating these cherries too, they're not eating stuff in my garden. I was really worried they were going to eat them all, but they've actually saved me a few. Man, that's good. What's up, Internet? So I wanted to talk to you guys about something today. We've been doing a bunch of garden updates. That's pretty much all we've been doing, but I want to talk to you guys about this place. Check out these blackberries. They flowered at the right time too, so we should get a ton of blackberries. So after our cherries are gone, we just have a blackberry flush. Sorry, ADD. There's a lot of cool things to see out here. It's good to us. We love it. Here's something I've learned recently is that we've lost sight of the concept of seasons of food. There's a season for everything, but since we can get anything transported throughout the world, we just think that everything's always in season. There's nothing you can't get at the store anytime because it can be imported from Brazil or Mexico or China or some other place around the world. So we don't have anything that feels special in the world. But cherries, just simple cherries that grow in these trees are special to me. This is our new John Siskovich chicken tractor with our 21 meat birds, as we got 25, but we lost a few of them, which happens. And so I built this guy real quick, actually, really to the day of which they needed to go out here. But they're out here on the grass, moving them every day and just enjoying life and growing and eating. That's what they do. They just eat and lay down. So these are Cornish cross that we got, and I am going to put a bigger feeder in there. I've got one ordered, and I've got a watering system I'm going to put in, but that'll be done another day. One thing we did that I'm not 100% sure about this, it was definitely a lot of extra work, but when we went to Tractor Supply, it calls for a 2-foot hardware cloth, but they only had 3 foot. So what we decided to do was actually leave a little skirt here on 3 sides, and in theory what that will do is it'll actually kind of stop predators from digging underneath, because they'll try to dig here because they're maybe not smart enough to go underneath here. But you know, either way, it's just to kind of deter them a little bit and keep them from digging holes underneath there. But it kind of gets in the way when you move it, although if you're pulling it straight, it's really not a big deal. So it's just something we added on. When you turn it, it can become a problem. So we're going to kind of come up with some plan where we can actually hook it up here to hold it up while we move it if we need to. Because it really only matters if you're, whichever way you're turning it. If I'm turning it this way, then this is going to get caught and get pulled under, or vice versa. Minor thing. But yeah, so these are going to be our meat birds. They're about 3 weeks old at this point. At 8 weeks or 7 weeks, just depends. We will be harvesting these birds and eating them, or freezing them. We won't be eating them immediately. We're not that hungry. But these are all male chickens, at least should be all male chickens, and so they'll grow pretty fast and pretty big. So working on that. But I want to talk about a song that I heard the other day. Not really the song itself, but a lyric. Amy introduced me to this song, and I can't remember the name of it, but I remember a lyric. And it was something about going off grid. It was a country song about going off grid. That might be the name of it. Something like that. So if you've heard of it, put it in the comments for me. But one of the things that it said was that they were trying to get away from the world to go off grid. And I told Amy, I said, you know, one thing I disagree with on that is that statement that you're getting away from the world by going off grid. Those places where you go to work and you live in cities, those aren't the world. This is the world. These trees, you know, this huge sky, this grass, this is the world. Your car's not the world. Your job isn't the world. You know, this is the world. This is how nature works. This is our planet that we're living on. You know, and this is amazing. And I think more people need to get back to it, because I think we're missing out on a lot of things. So, but I want to give you guys a couple updates here. But that's just something I was thinking about, that when you go off grid or you go become a homesteader, you're not getting away from the world. You're going into the world. You've been away from the world for too long. And so that's why we're here. Check out this corn. Man, that's some pretty looking corn right there. Pretty happy I came out here and weeded it earlier. Potatoes are not too long. They probably got another month or so, maybe a little less. But man, they're big potato plants. Oh, I see a weed in here. That sucker's growing pretty good too. Man, it came straight. That's a tall weed. That's all right. Look at these flowers. I better not show Amy those flowers. She'll come out here and cut my potato plants down and put them in some bouquet. Look at these peanuts. My peanuts finally came up. They're still pretty small, but they look pretty good to me. Gonna have to do some hand weeding probably in there later on in the season, but for now they look pretty good. I got Nice okra right there growing too. Corn's looking nice. Pretty excited about my corn this year. I think it's actually going to work. Check out these peppers over here. They're still establishing themselves. They've definitely started to pick up some and grow some. It's kind of interesting to watch. You don't see them grow up much, but you can see the stalks getting bigger there. They're starting to do some flowering. And I'm okay with it. I'm just going to let them go. Sometimes you pick those flowers off in the beginning, but I'm just going to let them go. I'm going to let them grow how they grow. You know, if we put enough nutrients in there, they'll grow, and we'll get a ton of peppers by the end of the season. These are super hots over here. This is a mixture of super hots. We don't even know what half of them are, because we got a 10 seed pack, and probably about 7 of those seeds germinated. I know that there are some Trinidad scorpion peppers in here. I think 3 at least that we got. So we'll see if they pick up. These are actually dahlias that we actually cut, and they're starting to really root in and do a good job. Here's some of our mustard greens. We actually sold some mustard greens at our farmer's market. So we're doing pretty good. Little baby mustard greens. Look at this beautiful celery. This thing's dark. I don't know if you can see that. Some very, very dark green celery, which I assume is good. I really don't know if dark green celery is the way it's supposed to be. So we have these broccoli that actually are really picking up here. It's interesting. There's 2 different varieties here. Most of them are one variety, and then we've got another one that's got a couple of plants, and those have bolted pretty much. So there's kind of a lighter green one here, and I may have mentioned this in a previous video, but they've definitely bolted. But the darker green ones have not, and they're more heat tolerant. It really hasn't been that hot, but you know, they have not bolted yet. And so hopefully they'll produce something. Hard to tell at this point. They got nice leaves. They definitely grow nice that way. The other day I saw our first tomatoes. I don't know if it was here or not. These plants are looking really good though. They're definitely strong. They smell amazing. I love the smell of tomato plants. I'm going to use a foliar application of calcium to see if we can help prevent end rot, which I'll probably need to start soon. So we had our second farmer's market, I guess, of the season Friday. It's now Sunday, and we did have some flowers. It was as successful as the first one. Made the exact same amount of money actually. But interestingly, no one really bought any flowers, but it didn't really matter because it was a good test, and we enjoyed doing it, and our booth looked beautiful, and you know, we just had a good time. We met some new people, and so right now when we're doing our farmers markets, it's really all about just the experience and helping grow this farmers market that's brand new this year in our local community as well. So we're just trying to be there and be supportive and provide what we can when we can. So we were able to do some greens. We had some good baby salad mixes that we had in here that you know, we sold a couple of them, so that was pretty good. We weren't even expecting that. That was just morning of. We just picked some, and you know, we got some flowers. Amy made some small little teeny like salt shaker bouquets. But check this out. I want you to see how much this garden has grown in just the last few days. Look at these snapdragons. Beautiful colors. This daisy bush here is getting so big it's starting to fall apart. I probably need to string it together, but our bachelor buttons. We did get one bachelor button, and you can see we've got a lot more ready to go. Don't ask me what these are. Amy told me earlier and I cannot remember, but it's okay. We got some of these guys. Again, I don't know what they are, but they're beautiful, beautiful flowers. But most everything over here is really starting to bloom. We've got some beautiful straw flower here that's starting to create some blossoms. This stuff's really cool. I like straw flowers. I realize I'm a grown man, but I like several different flowers are my favorite, and I want to name them. Bachelor buttons were my favorite. I do really like the straw flowers. I like sunflowers. Everybody likes sunflowers. But my favorite flower is a dahlia. I love dahlias. And if it were up to me, we'd have a dahlia farm. We might one day. But I think dahlias are the best. Going crazy. I don't think these radishes are going to make it. I don't think they're getting the nutrients out of this soil that they need. They're not really growing. They've got a little moisture in there, but they definitely look a little worse for wear. But that's okay. It's just, we just had some extra radish seeds. We wanted to throw them in the ground. Oh, look, there's a little baby radish. Little teeny tiny. Little baby radish here. Look at it. This is definitely by far the cleanest we've ever had this garden. Now that does not mean that it's clean, but this is by far the cleanest we've ever had this garden. Now, some people will disagree with some of our methods. That's the way the world works. There's always somebody who disagrees with what you do. You know, this is a lot of black plastic, weed fabric, and you know, we use a lot of it, and we use a lot of it because we don't want weeds. We want to keep the grass down. You know, I look at this right here. This piece of crabgrass is growing out of a tiny hole that was made by that staple. There's no other holes here. It's just growing out of that hole. That entire thing found a way through that pinhole of that landscape staple. Now, I can handle that, but when it's an entire field of crabgrass, I cannot handle it. And no matter how many tools I have, it's really, really difficult. Even in this lettuce here, which, you know, I don't know much longer it's going to last anyway, but you can see the grass really growing up. Now, this is good grass. This grass here comes out pretty easily. You just kind of pick it. Well, I got some lettuce in there. It comes out of the side. And so to come in here and, you know, weed this really isn't that bad, although it definitely needs to be done. We'll probably pick this here soon. These, once it gets hot, these aren't going to make it anyway. But we might come through and just pick one more picking of salads. And then, you know, kind of go from there. But the grass has definitely got a lot of water. And so, I'll just eat this guy. Why not? So we have a lot of things that we do that some people may not agree with. You know, people that are kind of deep into the regenerative nature of gardening and horticulture in general. But that's okay. We don't have to appease everyone, and we're not trying to. We're trying to appease ourselves and trying to grow food for ourselves and others in the best way that we know how, with the resources that we have. And I think we're doing a pretty good job. If the measure of success is the production of food, we're nailing it. If the measure of success is not the production of food and it's just the moral superiority of your method, maybe we're not doing that good. If we wanted a hayfield out here, we could have just left it a hayfield. If you think that just living, having living organisms in the dirt is regenerative, then great, we just leave it a hayfield. But we want to grow food in this hayfield. So the question becomes are we regenerating this hayfield? And that's pretty much what we're doing. We talk about this a bunch, like what are we doing? Are we regenerative? Are we sustainable? Are we any other type of word you want to use to describe the horticulture or agriculture that we are doing over here? And the truth is we don't fit in any of those molds. We're just doing what we're doing. But the main reason why I say all this stuff is because people are going to judge what you're going to do. They're going to like and not like what you're going to do. But you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you. And so while we make these videos, and I do, we're just showing you what we're doing. We're not trying to educate or to tell you what you should do or must do. We're just showing you what we do. And if you like that kind of stuff, be sure to hit subscribe, watch us. It's just the two of us. We don't have 70 kids running around here doing all of our chores. We are middle-aged people that are just doing whatever our bodies allow us to do. Oh, we did get something new. So we finish up our rabbit hutch here. You see Buckingham up there. Is excited to see you guys. And then we put a nice shade cloth over here. I've got a shade cloth here for old Buckingham, just to, when the sun's usually not that bad, but it does. That's north and this is south, so you see the sun's up there. It can shine in, which he's fine with generally, but in the heat of the summer, it's mostly going to be overhead, and it goes, from east to west. So this is actually not a bad spot for him, but we wanted the morning sun comes in here, so we wanted to block some of that, especially when it gets warmer. And this shade cloth creates a wonderful, wonderful shade in here. So there's Buckingham. He's getting bigger. How you doing, buddy? How you doing, Buckingham? Doing good? And then, oh, sorry, Meadow. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Meadow over here, cleaning herself. And Ash, as usual, eating. You fat girl. She's going to be a good mom. We got to get them separated. It's actually a little bit overdue. But we're going to separate them. However, Amy decided that we should go to a swap. And so we did. And now here's what became of that. More rabbits. My goodness. So this rabbit here is named Hope. That's Richmond back there. He's a male. We're going to split them up soon, but for now they're going to be in together. They're from the same litter. And then over here we have Bessie and Faye. So we did all of our stuff from names of places. Bessie short for Bessemer. Faye is short for Fayette. Hope is short for Hopewell. And Richmond is Richmond for Richmond. Pretty cool. But yeah, they're all doing really good in here. And yeah, we got some new bunnies. From the same people. Same breeders. Well, actually, these two are from different breeders. Good job. Y'all nailed it. Good job. These two are tiny, but they've got big ears. So they'll grow into their big ears, I think. Well, some people don't agree with the way that we have rabbits in cages. Okay. Some more sunflower seeds. So we've got sunflowers. We've got our loofah over there, and we've got some watermelon over there. and then some more dahlias that we cut off. We did plant some cucumbers already. We still got more to plant, but we did plant some cucumbers on those trellises. And so, and we did some squash. We're really late to our squash game, but that's okay. We don't have to be on time to anything. But we did finally plant some squash, and we just planted a few plants here and there. We've had it in this row here, and we made a mistake and did it in the same row for 2 years. So last year we didn't have any squash plants that survived. But this year we're putting our okra in there, which you can see. But see, you see how things just get behind, right? So this is all grass, and I've still got my pile of compost over here, and the shovel's been in it for probably 2 weeks. We still have to do this. We still got to finish our watermelon plot over here. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep working on it. But, you know, things just happen when they happen. You know, out here on Homestead DNA, it's not procrastination, it's patience. That's what we call it. It's just habitual patience. The truth is, you need to be patient. You can't do everything all at once. You know, things come up. We got these meat birds. We planned this months ago. Before we planned to expand our garden, we planned to get meat birds. Well, those meat birds came, and those meat birds grew. And so I had to build this, and this took a little while. So, you know, we decided to get a garage, and so I put this garage up. You know, I decided to move a bunch of stuff out here, tons of stuff. We got our rooster out here, just hanging out, scaring me every time I look at him. Everything's going good here on the homestead. So with that, I know it's a long video. I just wanted to give you guys a good update and, you know, just talk about a few things. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'm gonna go out here and try to beat these birds to some of these cherries. All right, love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye.